long days and pleasant nights. Hello and welcome to Kingslingers, a Doof Media podcast experiencing, exploring, and analyzing Stephen King's Dark Tower series. My name is Scott Daly, and I am a constant reader and King aficionado.
And I'm Matt Freeman, and I've only read 2 Stephen King books in my life.
Which ones, Matt?
Carrie and Needful Things.
That's 2 very unique sets of books there, Matt. I doubt anyone in this entire world has read those 2 and only those 2 books.
Well, it's the kind of unique perspective that you get here on Doof Media.
That is right. For the next year or so, Matt and I will be diving into the work of King's The Dark Tower. Me for the 3rd or 4th time, and Matt, as he said, for the very first one. Each and every week, we'll go over a collection of chapters as we make our way through the books. We'll only be discussing things through those chapters read, so the podcast will be safe for people like Matt, new readers, and old readers like me alike. It's for both of us. It's for all of us.
Yeah, and as we make our way through, we'll analyze, interpret, and discuss the writing style and storyline, and I might even make some predictions.
And if you've been following our Doof Media podcast for any amount of time, you know that is a table-turned moment for us. I'm used to being the one making predictions. I get to lead Matt through this thing. We've never done that before. It's very exciting. Just a general note for those of you that have read the books before, we will be going in publishing order, which means Wind Through the Keyhole, the 8th book in the series, but chronologically different, will be covered last. So I had to make a decision there. It technically slots in the middle of 2 of the other books, but we're going to cover it last. We're going to go through the story as it was written and published, and then talk about that book at the very end.
Whatever all that means. So we're shooting for anywhere between 20,000 and 40,000 words covered per week, but we'll be attempting to divide out the books in the most logical manner.
Yeah, and you can see the breakdown for The Gunslinger, the first book in the Dark Tower series, by clicking on the link in the show notes below. We've broken down the sections we're going to be covering that, and I will continue to update that page as we go through the later books. But Matt, for this introductory episode, before you've read a word of any of these books, I want you to tell me what you know about the Dark Tower.
I think I've absorbed some things. I know basically there's a Western setting that we're following a character who is kind of a Western gunslinger type character. But then my understanding is that the story is quite sprawling and covers a lot of different ideas and maybe other settings, and there's some intertextuality between this book and other King books. I don't know what form that takes exactly, but I believe that I've heard that Stephen King is a character in this book. I don't know. I don't know what to make of that. I'm sure it'll be great, Scott. I really don't know a ton about it though. Like I've heard all these words and like a quartet. I'm like, okay, I guess this is a group of adventurers that he goes along with. like really very like I'm sort of taking the tropes of epic fantasy storytelling and plugging in things that I've heard. But I would not say that I know very much about this story.
And that's exactly the way I want it. I'm very excited to hear that. I think this is going to be a lot of fun. I think everyone who's read this books before that just listened to that is like, ooh, this is going to be fun. Because that's exactly what I'm thinking. I can't wait to experience these books with you. It's been a bit since I've read them. I've already read The Gunslinger in preparation for the show, but I'm starting it again to read it alongside you. And I'm just very, very excited for this.
Yeah, well, your excitement makes me excited. Mm-hmm. So make sure you subscribe to this podcast feed right away so you won't miss it when the first episode drops. And when will that be, Scott?
Episode 1, covering Chapter 1 of The Gunslinger, will be live on January 16th, 2020. That's 1/16/20. 1 plus 16 plus 2 plus 0. That's 19.
Yeah, you're being weird again.
Sorry. The Dark Tower series is an immensely important work of fiction by one of my absolutely favorite authors. And as we said before, I cannot wait to experience it with Matt and with all of you out there. If you are a constant reader like I am and want to dive deep into these books and explore what makes them tick and why they're so damn good, join us, please.
Yeah. Or if you're a King virgin like me, just looking for an excuse to read these novels, then join us.
Yes. For your father's sake, come palaver. All are welcome in the Kingslayers quartet. Thank you, Sai.
I have no idea what you just said.
You will, Matt. You will. So that's all we had for this little introduction. We hope you join us on our long journey to the Dark Tower, because to deny this quest would be to forget the face of your father. And you wouldn't want to do that, right, Matt?
Is this what you're going to do the entire time?
Probably.
Well, we'll see you back here on January 16th.
19.
As we begin chapter 1 of book 1, The Gunslinger.
Long days and pleasant nights.
And may you have twice the number.
You're going to say that good once you figure out what it means.
Okay, you'll me to read it again? You want a better line?
No.
Okay.
I think that's fine. I think that's fine.